Welcome everybody to the Queen Up Now podcast. I am super excited because guess who I have here? Guys, this young lady is amazing. Not just amazing, intelligent, and beautiful. This young lady right here is Laudis Feliz. And I love her name. But let me tell you why I'm excited. She's a dentist in Juarez, Mexico, Juarez, Chihuahua. And she came to the United States and she's going to tell us a little bit about her story. So please share for everybody that, let's say, came from Juarez or anywhere in Mexico to the United States. Share your story with us.
Thank you, Victoria. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited. I'm really happy to be able to share a little bit of my story, because if I share it all, we'll be here all day. But yeah, I came here to the United States about 14 years ago. 14 years ago, I was...
Can you... Because we're talking now.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
Okay, see, we're good. Okay. So tell me, we came here from so we're gonna be talking and then go.
Perfect.
So when did you tell me when you came here from the United States? Go.
So I was working as a dentist in Juarez, Mexico. I'm from Chihuahua, and then I moved to Juarez. I did my school in Juarez. So later on, I was asked to also teach at the university. So I was a professor at the university,
Wow.
My life was, as I was planning it, to be, I was happy. And then all of a sudden, all of this violence, chaos came to Mexico. Remember those years around 2009, 2010. So it was very hard for me. I had my mom pass away suddenly one night.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And I'm all by myself. So what to do? I was going to work and then I was going home. And that's it. That was my life. Because it was dangerous to be outside, even in the office, everybody was freaking out about all the kidnapping and whatnot.
And because you're a dentist in Juarez, you're a dentist. You were afraid that maybe kidnapping might happen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was, it was everywhere. Okay. Everybody was scared, it was, because if you were driving, something could happen right next to you or something.
Yes.
It was everywhere.
And then you're alone. You're alone in Juarez because now your mom, and I'm sorry to hear that again, but what did she pass away of?
She had a heart attack at night. So it was February 14th. So I was at one of my friend's house. She's one of my neighbors. And she sent me a message and she said, "May God take care of you." And I thought it was odd, because she always said, "I love you, mija, at what time are you coming home? Be careful, this and that." But that message was very different. That message, something.
You felt something.
Yes. So I go home. "Mommy, I'm already here, I'm going to sleep." "Okay, mija, did you eat?" "Yeah, I ate. Everything is good." "Okay, good night." And at 5 a.m, I heard some noises and my mom was having a heart attack. So because of all of the violence going on in Mexico, we were on our own. The ambulance services, the police service, everything was just...
They were to stop. They weren't servicing any community.
Because they were scared too, So, I was there for like an hour before somebody finally arrived. I couldn't carry my mom, and put her into the car to go to the hospital. So yeah, it was a big shock for myself. Something very hard to process. We are women of family. We love family. We are always in that constant relationship with our family. So it was hard. So the same year, my mom passed away, and that everything was going on in Juarez. I start coming to El Paso to walk my dogs at the Azcárate Park. So that's the only thing I would do: work, home, and then on the weekends I would cross with my dogs to walk at Azcárate.
Wow.
It was like
because obviously you couldn't do that in Juarez, and okay, so
and
now
I wanted to, I wanted to be outside. So I met my husband here in El Paso. And
where did you meet him?
So it was online.
Okay.
So I joined this online dating side, and he was like, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes from my house in Juarez, but in a different country. So it was
Oh,
really,
wow. It was
really
meant to
crazy.
be.
So because of everything going on in Mexico, he's like, you know what? You're in danger there and everything. Let's get married. And I was like, so I was alone, you know. I
Right.
was praying to God, you know, to have a family again, to feel, you know,
Yes.
what a family was. And then he proposes and everything. So I'm like, yeah,
How long before you met him and he proposed?
a year. It was a year.
Wow.
And we planned the wedding like in 2 months.
Uh-huh.
And I was working still in Mexico, you know, while he was planning the wedding here. And so he pretty much did everything. I only picked the dress.
Uh-huh.
He did everything else. But we didn't know, you know, how it was going to work with me working in Mexico and
Him being in El Paso.
so within 8 months, he tells me one day we have to move. You know, I got offered a job in San Antonio. So, and by then I was very pregnant with my Benjamin, with my
Oh, no. Oh.
baby. So,
So you had to get up and move. You went to San Antonio.
yes.
Knowing nobody.
Knowing
Just you and
nobody.
your husband. And
Yes. I have family in San Antonio. So I felt, you know, somehow like safe and happy. You know, I'm going to be again around some
Family.
family members. Yes. But then we stayed in San Antonio 3 months, and then my husband is like, "Guess what? We have to move."
oh my gosh.
So he's like, "I got offered a job in Anchorage, Alaska."
In Alaska.
In Alaska. So I
my
never
gosh.
imagined, you know, that my life would go from Chihuahua to Alaska in a matter of.
Right.
And, you know, by that point, I'm still in that very, I don't know how to say it. When you first get married, the first
The
couple
honeymoon
of years,
stage. It's all about love and oh, babe, I'll do everything for you.
especially for Mexican women,
Yes.
because we are all about, you know,
Taking care of our husbands.
exactly.
Yes.
So we tend to, you know, dim our light a little bit to make
Yes.
our partner, you know,
Yes.
shine.
It's our culture. That's what they teach us.
Exactly.
You know, they eat first.
Exactly.
Right.
So if he needs to go work in Alaska, let's work
you
in
don't
Alaska.
ask anything, you just go.
Exactly. So
Interesting.
yes, it was crazy. So I get to Alaska and I was calling constant. I remember my grandma. My grandma was in Chihuahua. I will call her every single day, and she would call me every day. And I remember her telling me, "Mija, when Scott is my husband's name, when Scott gets home, please make sure that your house smells delicious, that it smells like food, you know, make sure that your kids are well dressed, you know, always, you know, get pretty, things like that, you know,
Yes.
because that's our culture.
Culture.
And I used to tell my grandma, "Hi, grandma, you know, I mean, I'm very busy too, you know, I'm working here too and everything, but yes, I will." And she would always tell me too, "Mija, always have your savings."
Yes. Just
Always.
el guardadito, just in case.
And I was like, yeah, you know, like, of course, grandma. So she passed away while I was in Michigan. That was very hard for me. While I was in Alaska, I'm sorry. That was very hard for me because I had already lost my mom, you know. And
Yeah.
now my grandma was the only person that I
Now
had
you
to
really feel
communicate.
alone. And at this point, you have one son?
Yes, I have Benjamin.
Okay. Benjamin.
So in the first year that we were in Alaska, I got pregnant with Alex, with my second son. And during the pregnancy, I was working. First, I started baking cakes. I had never baked anything in my entire life, never. But I always tell women, you know, when you come to the United States, sometimes you get very scared and you feel like, oh my goodness, I left my career in Mexico. Here maybe I won't be able to practice because of family, because of
Right.
the license, because of many things. But that's also an opportunity for you to find your passion.
Yes, absolutely.
Sometimes you chose a career in Mexico, and when you come here, you already know that, yeah, that was good. But here you have a new opportunity to try on something else. And then you find out that that's your real passion. And that's what happened to me. I love baking. It was something very relaxing. I love that people,
What did you bake? Like cakes, cupcakes, or just cookies? What, anything?
it was cakes, like wedding cakes and birthday cakes and
That is,
macaroons.
super interesting because you come from a well-educated woman, you're a dentist and now you're baking cakes. What, that's a transition there. And you started baking cakes to sell them to help your husband or just to feel like this is what I bring to the table?
I needed to do something. I really needed to do something because I was going to go crazy there. The weather in Alaska is a whole other, it's,
Super cold, right?
and it's always like dusky. I feel like even during the summer, everybody's like, oh, the sun is shining so bright. Yeah, but it's dusky. It's still, there's a lot of like tanning bed businesses there and everything because you need the sun.
Right.
And during the winter, which is very long, you are at home pretty much all the time, especially if you have babies.
Yes.
Like I did. I had my baby. So it was pretty much staying at home with my kids. I needed to do something,
Yes.
to get my mind.
Before you got depressed and started screaming and fight. Were you fighting with your husband at this time? Because I know when people are, especially couples, you're not in your comfort zone. He is because he's used to moving, correct?
Yes.
But you're not in your comfort
He
zone.
enjoys the moving.
Yeah, and you don't. You're alone. Now you don't have your grandmother. You don't have your mother. They're alone with 2 kids. Your mother didn't meet your children?
No.
Your grandmother didn't meet them?
Benjamin, yes. Alex.
So now you're a woman in Alaska, yes, with a husband, but still in a home with her children while he's out working. Like, how did you feel at that time? Were you like, okay, I'm depressed, I'm crying every day, or were you just like happy-go-lucky? Oh, well, tell us a little bit about that.
See, I think it helped the fact that I was still in that honeymoon phase that you mentioned,
Yes.
I think it helped a little bit because I didn't want to put on a sad face.
Yes.
I didn't want my husband to feel like I wasn't going to make it there,
Right.
No, I can, I can because,
I love it.
So I found a job in Alaska too. Well, I was doing the cakes thing. I learned off of YouTube how to bake, how to decorate, and I was making like big cakes,
Wow.
for weddings and stuff. And just with YouTube, everybody was like, seriously, you learned the recipes and how to manage, the materials and everything. And I was like, it's all
It came easy to you.
Yes. Yeah. If you have like that passion, if you like it, all you need is YouTube to learn to do something.
Yes.
So it was pretty amazing. Later on, I started working as a dental assistant for a doctor in downtown Anchorage. And my English, that was something very challenging because my English wasn't, it's still not great, but my English was very limited. So when I started working in Alaska with this dentist, I remember that the dentist will get very, very frustrated. And he will be like, please pass me, certain tool. And, I didn't know what was the translation of that term.
Right.
So I was like, what that means, this is, so I would give him something and he would be like, and I would just, oh my goodness, I would feel horrible. So I remember going, after work, it was mostly dark when I left because again, it's Alaska. So I remember leaving the office on my way to the parking lot and the tears were rolling down. And I would be like, oh my goodness, I did so bad today at work. The doctor is so mad at me because I didn't understand this, that. And then I would be like, but I'm not going to quit.
Oh my God.
They're
that's
gonna have to fire me. I was like, they're gonna have to fire me because
Yes.
I'm not gonna quit. I'm learning English, so it's helping me a lot. So I'm just gonna keep going. And there was in Alaska, there's a whole different culture too, and there was some situations where I would go to my husband, like corporate meetings and dinners and galas and whatnot. And I had several stories. I will never end if I told you, all these specifics. But several times I felt very diminished. When my husband told, these high-end people, here's my wife, she's Mexican, there was a lot of situations where
Prejudice? Do you think they were a little prejudiced against you? So is there a lot of people who speak Spanish in Anchor? Okay.
I would go to Mexican restaurants in Anchorage because I wanted to speak Spanish. I was really craving speaking Spanish to somebody else, and to feel
that community that you were missing from your home. Absolutely.
So
how long did you stay in? Okay, so now you're in Alaska. You were there for how long? And then I know you moved somewhere else, correct?
Yes, we were 3 years in Alaska. And so far, our marriage was like
a little rocky, maybe?
A little rocky because
the honeymoon stage was kind of like, okay, now let's get into that.
Yes.
How did you manage that as a woman? Grandma wasn't calling you anymore to tell you, mija, you gotta have the food ready and you have to look good and make sure the kids are dressed and everything perfect, right?
Yes, that's correct.
You don't have anybody in your ear, and now you're feeling a little tired, and why am I still here? And now I have 2 kids and this husband, honeymoon stage is almost over. How did you deal with that? Please tell us.
So while we were in Alaska, I was pretty much every single day telling my husband, I want to move. I want to move. I want to go back to the lower 48. That's how they call it in Alaska, the lower 48. So one day, after 3 years, he tells me, they're offering me a job in Michigan. I didn't know where Michigan was.
You're like, let's just get out of Alaska.
I just know that it's down there. It's not up here, so let's go. And, I was thinking, maybe it's not so cold there. Maybe there's not going to be the mountains of snow, every day because we had to plow and everything. Oh, my goodness. So I was super excited. In Alaska, I was able to maybe make 3 friends, 3 Mexican friends, or Hispanic. And we were not very close because they had little kids too. And so I was,
Everybody was doing their own thing.
Yes. So when we moved to Michigan, the first thing I see, it's a big pile of snow too. I was like, are we still in Alaska? What's going on here? So yes, the weather again it's very cold in Michigan, and I was like, oh, okay. But
now you get sun, right?
But now I get the sun.
Right.
Yeah. So when we get to Michigan, I find online on this Facebook, I find a
like
Facebook called Mexicanas in Michigan. Mexicanas in Michigan was made by an amazing woman, Monique Saucedo, who I adore. She's one of the people who have inspired me, to give whatever I can give.
Right.
And in this group of women, I finally felt like I was inside a community. They were
You're
doing
part of something now.
I remember the first time that I was able to post something on the group, and I was like, you know what? We just moved to this new house, whatever. I invite you all. I'm gonna make cochinita pibil. I remember that I make cochinita pibil. Everybody is welcome to come. And then Monique sends me a message, and she's like, Lauris, do you know how many women are in this group? And I was like, no, I haven't checked. And she was like, okay, I just want to make sure, because this can get out of hand.
Right.
There's a lot of us, And all of us really like those gatherings. You know, all of us really like to get together. So when we see an opportunity to get together, we're going to go.
How many
So
showed
it
up?
was like, it wasn't that many because I deleted the post.
Right, okay.
I got a little bit, scared. I was like, what am I doing? So there was like 20 of us. I have the picture of
Wow.
and it was families, it was, but it was amazing. It was truly, truly amazing. So I remember that night going to sleep and I was thanking God, finally, like I have a group of people
Yes.
that I feel,
Connected to.
uh-huh.
Yes, you found your tribe.
Yes, I found my
Good.
tribe. I felt like they were family somehow.
And how did your husband fit into all this?
There was several of us that were married to American men. So
What does your husband do, by the way? Because I know everybody wants to know. Because I'm like, okay, wait, what does he do? Because he moves a lot. So is he in the military?
he's a veteran, but no, he's an electrical engineer, and he works now here in El Paso. He has this amazing job with MEMCO. He is the vice president of like he manages the buildings and make sure that everything is perfect. That,
Okay.
that everything.
So he's an engineer, though.
smooth. Yes,
So
he's-
that's why he was moving so much. And okay.
So yeah.
So sorry, back to Michigan. I'm like, I just want to make sure they get the story, because I know people are gonna be like, wait, what does the husband do?
Yeah.
So you're in Michigan. You're there for how long?
3 years.
And then you end up back here in El Paso.
We end up here in El Paso.
But before that, you started a group also.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
I knew there was a chance for us, to move back here because I was constantly, pushing and pushing. I want to go back there because, I have my career in Mexico. I wanted to still practice,
Yes.
before I forgot everything. And, I needed to still, get my education going to keep up. And I knew there was a chance. I knew it was in his head, that I wanted to move. But by then we started having all type of, issues. Our marriage started to get really, really, really.
Rocky.
Yes, it was hard, and we had to find a lot of support. And it's funny because a lot of this support came from this group. I remember, yes, I remember one night, and that night I think it was the day that really like changed everything in me. The day that I was like, I have to go back to who I am, because I had left who I was, the moment that I moved
Right.
into the United States completely. So I abandoned myself, and it was time for me to, go back.
You missed yourself. You wanted to go back to who you truly were.
Yes.
Good for you.
And that was, my husband was traveling, and a friend from this group called me. And it was late. It was about 8 p.m. And when she called me, I answered, and she's like, "You're crying." And I was like, "No, I'm not crying." And she's like, "You're crying." And I was like, "No, I'm good. What's going on?" And I was like, "Nothing. Everything is good." And it was very, very strange because she, she has a lot going on at her house too. She has a husband and kids, and she gets to the house and she's like, "Pack your bags because we're leaving." And
Wow.
so I packed my bags. I got in the car, and with my boys, obviously, and she took me to her house. Her husband and her were like a big, big support for me. They were family.
Oh,
Like
that's beautiful.
that type of angels that,
You needed at that time.
yes. And, they were always taking care of me and the boys and everything. I kept working, but they were, it was. So we went through a whole process for me to be able to go back to my home with my husband. There was a whole process. And in all of that, there was a whole.
So when you say she picked you up, that means you separated from your husband. Okay. Okay. I thought okay. So you separated from your husband. You decided, you know what? I need a break. Something's not working here. Your friend, when she heard your voice, she knew you were crying. You you felt maybe desperate, depressed. She picked you up. You got separated for how long?
For about 2 weeks. It was only
Okay.
about 2 weeks. But it wasn't until she went there and picked me up that I understood that I needed to go. You know, I wouldn't have moved
Right.
if it wasn't for her, you know, because you feel alone, because you don't
Yes.
see any. It's just very hard to talk about it. I'm
Yes.
sorry. It's hard
No,
to talk
it's
about
okay.
it. But I know that many women in the United States like me
Yes.
are
Yes.
in very different type of situations, and they need somebody like Naline, like my friend.
Yes.
They need somebody like her to take over and say, you know, I got you.
Yes.
I got you, and I'm going to go through this with you. And because later on, that's going to help you do the same for
And that's
other.
beautiful. And thank you for sharing, because I know it is hard to share these type of stories, but this is what we like. When we share these type of stories, we change other women's lives, not just women, men also, because they're listening too. And it just helps us, you know, just be like, man, she went through this. I'm going through this. And she's out of it, so I'm just going through this. And it just gives us hope. It gives us that space, you know, to say, this can work for me too. So thank you for your honesty.
No. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Yes, thank you. But for right now, we are going to go to a quick commercial break, and we will be back with the most wonderful lady right here, Mrs. Feliz. I love calling you Mrs. Feliz. So we'll be right back. Well, thank you for coming back and being here with Ms. Laudis Feliz. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited, you know, listening to your story. And we just talked about this off camera, but this is so important. I'm listening to your story without any family. Okay, you're having problems at home with your husband. You have 2 kids. And yes, you have a community of people that love you, but it's not the same thing. And here I am. Let me tell you what you did for me, Mrs. Feliz. You inspired me so much, because here I am complaining. My daughters live here in El Paso. You know, I have 5 grandkids. My husband's amazing. My family is still here. And then I get into one of these moods. Now, when I get into that mood, like, why me, and that victim mentality, I'm going to remember you, because you were alone doing this. You figured it out. And when I told you this right now, what did you tell me? Why did you figure it out?
I had no choice. You know, I had those little boys
Yes.
that needed their mom strong and
Yes.
needed their stability.
Yes.
More than anything, I wanted stability, because I was craving for stability. You know, moving so much. You know, we're Mexicans, we don't move that
Right,
much. You know, that's an
right.
American thing. You know,
Yes.
they move here for work, and then there and there, and you know, and they enjoy it, and it's an adventure. You know, we stay at
Yes.
our place.
My mom has been living in our house for 55 years. So yes.
Exactly. So for me, it was like, you know, I need to give my boys the stability that I had
Yes.
growing up. I want them to feel what it is to be stable, you know, and I wanted the best, obviously, for them at all times.
You're such a powerhouse.
Thank you so
But let's go back. Michigan, you separated for 2 weeks. You came to El Paso, and talk to me about that amazing group that you created.
Okay.
What's the name of it?
So it's Mexicanas en Estados Unidos.
Eso, Mexicanas en Estados Unidos.
Así es. Y fue gracias a, creo yo que a muchas mujeres,
Mm-hmm.
a todas esas mujeres que conocí, inclusive las que conocí en Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
a mujeres que me dieron una buena experiencia, mujeres que a lo mejor no me dieron una tan buena experiencia,
Sí,
¿no?
sí, así pasa, ¿verdad? That happens a lot. Mm-hmm.
Todo ese aprendizaje.
Yes.
Todo ese aprendizaje y todo tiene un propósito. Y el propósito que yo he descubierto era, tenías que pasar por todo esto,
Yes.
¿no?
So you have to go through this whole, everything you went through was for a reason,
Sí.
correct?
Yes, I needed to help other women.
Yes, yes.
Because when I was, like at the lowest, when I had like no hope, when I was
Yes.
like, who am I? Where am I? There was women who helped me. So it was my turn to help them.
Oh,
And I was
I
like,
love it.
so yes, I go back home with my husband after, therapies and everything that they helped us get in Michigan. He's a veteran, so we got some help from the VA
Okay,
therapist
good.
and whatnot too. We moved back to El Paso. Finally, he got
Welcome
through
home. How long have you been in El Paso?
7 years now,
Good.
7-8 years now. And I remember when we drove from Michigan. So
Oh, that's
we
a long
put our
drive, huh?
dogs
Yes.
in the back, our kids, and we drove all the way here. I remember going through Trans Mountain,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, "This is beautiful."
Oh, I love it.
Like I didn't remember how beautiful El Paso was.
Yes.
I was just, oh my goodness, so excited. So, while we were, in that with the moving and everything, I started thinking about a group like Mexicanas in Michigan, but
More global,
Big.
right? Yes.
so I was like, how many women are not in the same situation that I was, feeling completely worthless,
Yes. Alone,
alone.
tired, depressed.
Yes, it's very hard because you affect your family, you affect your kids too. Again, they need a strong
Yes.
mom. So I was like, I think I can help, and I want to move this to a national,
To a national level. That way everybody gets what you got in with that group in Michigan.
Yes, so it was at night that I was like, let's create the group, Mexicanas en Estados Unidos.
Oh,
And I
beautiful.
started to share it just with, my friends on Facebook. And that's it. I would post, some traditions about Mexico, and I would, everything that I thought it was funny,
Right.
or, that it will teach you something about our country, and, things like
And your group grow to, what are you at right now? How many
and
people?
we are at 24,000
Very nice.
24,000 members, and we are, we had to kind of limit
Uh-huh.
because I started to feel, this is growing too fast. There's so many posts on Tuesdays. We have the martes de ventas y promoción de negocios. So it's a big responsibility, to be checking everything,
Yes.
approving what goes in the group, and
And then they get mad at you when you don't, and they start sending you nasty messages. I get that. Yes.
and then also approving the members.
Yes.
Because we want to keep the group consistent.
Yes.
We want Mexican in the United States, Mexican women who came to the United States who are here right now,
Yes.
who are experiencing the same type of situations.
Yes. That you went through. Yes.
And that have experienced these types of situations, so they can help us, they can help the new generations,
Right.
through those hardships.
How do you feel that you help them with, yes, the community, but do you guys have gatherings? What do you do?
See, one of the things that I try to encourage the most when I make a live video or something is get together. I don't care if you are in a tiny town, where there's only 200 people.
Right.
You're going to find somebody. You're going to find a woman from Mexico
Yes.
who came here, I don't know when, maybe it was many, many years ago.
Yes.
But the moment that you connect with that person, you are going to feel how important it is
Yes, absolutely.
because we share a lot of things.
Yeah, the values from Mexico.
The values, the food.
Yeah, especially.
Yes. I had this friend in Michigan, Jessica Gomez. Jessica Gomez came here many, many years ago, and completely alone. Right now, she's very successful. She has helped so many women, and the way she helped me, other than being my friend, because she's one of my best friends and I will always adore her, was with her food. She makes amazing food, and that really makes you, go back to
the
your roots.
tradition, yes. You remember the tortillas your abuelita was making and the mole, and you start just remembering
So
all
even
those beautiful days.
With a dish,
Yes.
they can give you so much, and they don't realize that. We don't realize how much we can give
Yes.
to other women, and we're a big deal. We have so much to give.
Yes.
We just have to acknowledge. We just have to find that self-worth, in empower others. Empower women, educationally, socially, mentally, very important.
Yes.
Economically, we have to do that in order to make that great community shine.
Right, absolutely.
So, in the group you can find,
Mexicanas
Mexicanas
en los Estados Unidos. I love that. So tell me, are you and your husband still together?
Yes, we are.
Hey, and we're good?
We're good.
Okay.
I mean, it's a marriage.
Yes,
You
of
have
course.
to work every single day on it. But that's also something very important. When you come from another country, when you marry somebody that has a different culture, different traditions and everything, you're going to face
He's not Mexican, correct?
No, he's from South Carolina.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. And
So the culture shock also, the food, everything that you guys, he doesn't understand how important family is, maybe because he's not used to, us Mexicans were like this, one goes to the park and we all go together. Like we're so connected and attached.
Exactly.
So did he become kind of like your way now? Is he that way?
Yes, it's inevitably he has. And I think he likes it. Once they get to see how rich our culture is,
Yes.
and how being with our own tribe,
Yes.
makes you shine. I think they're gonna like that,
Yes.
and if
I
they love
love
you, they're
that.
going to really.
And
really
you
like
brought me this beautiful gift. Look at this. I love it. Thank you so much. It's so
That's our official.
the official T-shirt.
Official T-shirt.
Yes.
That you can get if you join the group and if you participate in the dynamics, the activities that we do in the group. I know sometimes we are like, no, but I don't want to, be out there. I don't want to take a video of myself, like cooking or.
So you encourage them to do this, to take videos. That way they're out there more.
And if you make reunions, wherever you live, with Mexican women, if you make these reunions, they also send me pictures, and I send them their T-shirts. So I just really want all the Mexican women in the United States
Yes.
to be
Come together.
exactly.
Well, oh my gosh, I love what you're doing for our community, for our culture, and not just here in El Paso, but throughout. And that is beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. And obviously we know,
thank you.
guys, this woman, she's Mexican. She was in Anchorage, Alaska, didn't speak any English. And she is here doing such an incredible job. This shows us that women can be powerful. Women can be amazing. We can still be moms and still work and still have a great family, but only if we decide to, because let me tell you, we are still the pillars of our household. And when we walk around defeated, so will everybody in our household, including our children and our husband. So we need to be those type of women that are powerful, amazing, intelligent, elegant, whatever it is that you need to do to become somebody like this. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your amazing story. Tell us where we can find you on social media.
So you can go on Facebook. We have the private group. It's Mexicanas en Estados Unidos. And you can join the group only by invitation of other member. Yes. We had to start doing that, to keep it very consistent.
Yes, absolutely.
And we have the public page on Facebook too, which is called Mexicanas en Estados Unidos Oficial.
Public page Mexicanas en Estados Unidos Oficial. Yes.
But if you are Mexicana en Estados Unidos, I really, 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 I would love to see you join our group.
Nice. Well, you heard it here. Please join her because I know that just what she brought here to the table, she's going to give you that community that a lot of you need out there. So thank you again for being here. And we are done, everybody. Thank you for watching Queen Up Now. I truly appreciate every one of you. And remember, love life and life will love you right back. Bye.